Fucking, that was my bad. Anyway, repeat that. Hi, guys. Hi, Valet. Hi, Lilite. Hi, Magnil. That one's on me, not my mic. I just forgot to unmute. But yeah, sorry to hear about the insomnia, but glad to have you here, and anyone else who may or may not be lurking. This is my attempt at a recap stream for a seed I did not play, so if any of you guys in chat did play it, I may ask for a little more context than usual, but I can tell a lot just from the sheet. Am I lurking? Potentially. Thanks for the lurk. Didn't miss much. Well, I got that sense from the winning decks tab. Normally there's a lot of groups that I put them in, and this time most people were just in the Intangible Monkey group of lots of Wraith forms and nightmares for them, thanks to the P-Box. Pandora's Box Doobie Boxing. If you took the end of Act 2 Pandora's Box, you saw both Nightmare and Wraith form immediately in the box already by itself. And lots of other good stuff. You may have had at least one Wraith form before then already. P-Box is a good relic, especially on Silent. Who knew? The Act 1 box, not as degen, but still very, very, very strong as well. Silent P-Box is goated. The end. But yeah, because of that, a lot of people in here ended up going full Intangible Monkey, and you can see from the comments as well, Intangible again, learning a lot from 3 Wraith forms and a Nightmare plus for them. Cringing. Act 2 P-Box was dumb. 15 turns of Intangible every fight. Cringing, etc., etc. You get the idea. And if you didn't do that, you probably leaned into the First Relic Shuriken, as Lilite said, and had a crap ton of blade dances and, maybe some cloaks and daggers or infinite blades or other stuff to go with them. Boot only had 2 blade dances, so I originally said Shoe Snorter, category Shoe Snorter, because I thought that was funny, but then I went and checked the Relic Stats tab, and where's the frickin' Shuriken? If you win the Shuriken race, I think I have to I'm obligated to put it in the Shiv Monkey category. That just seems mandatory, And yeah, sometimes people do write a more lengthy analysis of their runs. The other person who does that a lot, who's the other person who does that a lot? I'm not remembering. I have a name in my head and it's not coming to mind, but if someone put it in chat, I'd be like, yeah, that guy. But yeah, sometimes it's cool to do a deeper analysis. The end of it, I think, is pretty emblematic. Look, the boss relics for Act 2, figured Fusion Rammer for energy, picking it back up the next evening, decided that 4 energy worth of output is not actually going to get places, went with Pandora's Box, and then, going all in on that. And that from the sounds of it, the runs, like even these runs, like this was an end of Act 2 P-Box that threw the Nightmare Wraith form in there. I think a lot of people had somewhat more interesting runs before that, at least, and that does go to show, again, kind of an oft-cited principle of the Spire, survive until you win, right? A run doesn't have to be crazy strong all the way through. You can limp something along until you find the broken thing at pretty much any point in a run that will crack things wide open and let you own. I'm pretty sure you were the only freak, Valet, but let's take a look. Agreed. Yep. Everyone else just went Orrery and Lilite removing Clumsy because for the Niao. But honestly, floor 2 Orrery is just insane, my dude. There is no universe where I would pick a Hand of Greed over an Orrery there, personally. Just like the amount of immediate power that gives you of just catapulting like 5 card rewards. That's a good chunk of Act 1. That is a good chunk of Act 1. So yeah. Like the normal card rewards that you would get there. 3 apparitions? Oh, 2 upgraded apparitions due to wing boots tied to Runic Dome Gremlin later. Yeah, Runic Dome is a bitch like that. Certainly can be a bitch like that. It looks like Domers were, end of Act 1, doing better on average. I think part of this is like the P-Box, by the way, is specifically swappers saw the P-Box end of Act 1 instead of end of Act 2. So for people who did not swap, it looks like Dome was the strongest pick there. It's just a little tricky to play around sometimes. And it makes sense that it was stronger in this run in particular because there was just so much intangible being thrown at you, right? Between the apps, the Wraith forms, Nightmare for apps and Wraith forms. If you're intangible all the time, it kind of doesn't matter what the enemy is doing. But, by the same token, it does matter if you just get unlucky on an off turn. And there are some fights that are just really rough for that. Gremlin Leader is one of them. Time Eater is definitely one of them, where it's like... you just have no idea what they're doing. The RNG is way too random to predict. And apps pick rate, almost everyone who saw them this run did pick them, except for Arcus. And Arcus, went Shiv Suff. Dome sucks, but, not sucks enough to lose, apparently. But yeah, on this seed, not many people at all skipping them. While we're here, let's skim through other events. Golden Idol sucks, apparently. Today I learned. Always click. There's dopamine inside this button, and it gives you a shuriken on floor early. I don't know. A lot of people clicking once on the Dead Adventurer. I believe this was Sentries, if I recall correctly. Not 100% sure, but it makes sense that I feel like you get a lot more Search 0 when it's Dead Adventurer Laga on there. Why does it start debuffing you turn 1? Why did they do that? I don't know. Money is good. Good. Like the stark difference. Nobody who left gold pulled out a W on this one. And this is usually just a smash click button for me anyway. Like it's a lot of gold that you end up giving up when you consider like it's either lose this much or gain this much. It's the delta between the lose and the gain that actually matters. That is relevant. Only had 6 HP. Yeah, I mean sometimes if you're that far behind, it's pretty rough. And I'll go back to the orrery after this, but you can also exclamation mark stats if you want to check the sheet and follow along or jump around at your own pace. Mausoleum, yeah, neat split. Mind Bloom, again, most people fighting. I think it's the default response, and it's the default for a reason. It's very strong and low risk. J-Dub going for the gold. Not 100% sure why, if anyone saw or knows about his run, or if you're here in chat yourself, Mr. Dublinson, feel free to weigh in. And Velati, trying to be the upgrade gamer and getting pretty damn far with it, but like that is a lot of good upgrades, right? All of the basics, double backflip, triple blade dance, plans, masterful dagger spray, fumes, malaise, terror, triple alchemize. Like that's a lot of upgrades. I can understand the temptation, especially if the run is in a strong position and you aren't really taking too much damage. Going from not much to basically none can happen. And this wasn't like a complete get owned. This was a heart loss. So probably an underpicked option a lot of the time, I find. I am also a scaredy cat a lot of the time. Fair play. But yeah, falling, is a falling event. Most people taking the max HP. Was there an Omamori this seed? Maybe? Is that why people are taking the... well, Magnil had an Omamori and nobody else did. Interesting. So I'm not sure why the Writhe there. Maybe was there a Duvu? There was a Duvu doll. That answers that. Yeah, Duvu doll with free curses when you are doing Shiv things especially can for sure be strong. So I can understand that. Buying a mask for a bit of gold, wearing the mask for a lot of gold, or running away. If you made it this far, you won the run. Congratulations. Thieves, SMHing my head. Again, you're getting a shame, and a shame is a Duvu strength. So, yeah. Never negotiate with terrorists. Ignore the Moai head. Simplicity, sphere, fight. Yep. All pretty standard, I think. So now what was the thing I said I was going to go back to for valet? Was the orrery. Right. So choices first 5. So if you got the floor 2 orrery, you got a blade dance, a well-laid plans, maybe a sucker punch if you want one, another blade dance if you want one, or a predator if you don't, and a masterful stab if you want one. That's a lot of front load. It's a hell of a lot of front load for a character whose early game freaking sucks at front load. And a lot of the time it's just sort of, yeah, click half decent damage cards until you can actually kill things without just bleeding out. And yeah, I mean, yeah, I don't know how much more there is to say on that one. Floor 1 backflip is insane. Mark, if you're here, distraction is considerably less insane, or if you're watching this one later. Yeah, I don't mind distraction plus from time to time, especially on a character who can draw into it a lot of the time, but minus, it's like you kind of can't plan around it, really, of what it's going to give you on that turn, and that's an energy that you could be spending on much more guaranteed kind of output. The process was, it's carnage on no damage character. How bad can that be? I'm not sure what you're referring to there. Oh, the Hand of Greed. Hand of Greed. Yeah. I mean, it is, but Blade Dance and another Blade Dance and a Predator and a Masterful Stab and such are also damage on the new damage character. Yeah, it's definitely, I think, better than Skip, for sure. Is it better than Skip if there was nothing else good in the shop worth buying? I could for sure see the argument, yeah. I'd probably gravitate towards buying damage potions still at that point if they were on offer, but if there was really nothing else in the shop and there was a Hand of Greed there, I'd probably buy it over nothing. But would I buy it over, like, actually good things in the shop, like a Floor 2 Orrery? Not so much. But hey, I mean, it worked out, so what are you gonna do? Maravedas, thank you for the Prime sub. Appreciate you, friend. Hearts, hearts, hearts. Just Seed of the Week recapping. I'm not sure if you've been following along or playing these at all, but either way, good to have you here. Scrap Ooze, I don't know how many clicks this was, but on floor 2, I guess it's path dependent in a way, but I think spam clicking this early on makes a good amount of sense. Of you haven't really taken a meaningful amount of damage yet. It's a relic that you're getting out of it. It's basically an early elite fight in a sense, except instead of testing your deck, you're just testing RNG, pay a little HP for a relic. And, having the relic early. Overall win rate for the seeds, nope. I only do win rate from, just seed by seed. And I don't do them by person either. I don't want people to feel, awkward about submitting if it's a loss, especially, of, these are just, they're not going into some, vault of forever where people are going to judge for this, that, the other. It's just, it's a fun community thing, and the per win rate things for each individual seed is sort of like a rough bar for how brutal the seed was, and being able to use that as a touchstone, I think, is valuable. But no, I don't see a reason to do overall win rates. Granted, I can't stop other people from calculating any of that. The data is out there, and if you're interested, you can find it. But yeah, not something I'm particularly interested in putting front and center. Yes, we looked at that. Ori, Predator, I think super strong. Who's the boss in this one? The first boss, I have it. Where's the respect tab? I know it's on there. Guardian. Guardian, Automaton, Awakened One. So into Guardian, yeah, I can see Flask there. Predator, also, extremely strong. Yeah, slice, sweep. People on the lonely paths. Yeah, Slice versus Dagger Spray, I think, is an interesting one as well. Skip, I guess, depends what you've already got going on. I think both of these two people already took the Orrery, though, the floor before, if I'm remembering. Yeah. Both bought the Orrery, so skipping, okay damage here makes complete sense to me. I don't know why Tony's in 2 buckets there. Something got fucked up with the script. I don't know. Either you pick a slice or you skip. One of those things happened. But yeah, dagger spray for AoE, especially into hard pool hallways. If you have flex pot, if you have any sense of strength, some people got the shuriken from this scrap ooze. If you did that, then the dagger spray I think makes a lot of sense, because you get double value off of that strength. And yes, you are the only one who took 3 rares for curse. Yeah, slice, just, nice with silence kit in general, especially if you can draw into it a bunch, draw back into it, acros, etc. Fumes, yeah, it's a fumes. Finally here, good to see you, Mara. Yeah, a bunch of people still clicking the scrap ooze on floor 4. Lonely Path folks still being on the Lonely Path. And this floor 4 shop, a Fire Potion and an Orrery are here. Orrery continues to be super strong, Fire Potion as well, and people could afford both for the most part. I also do want to call out for Mark here. This is not just a really weird pick. This was Mark accidentally did it. Played this seed on the custom run mode instead of from the normal screen and just doing it seeded. So did not get a Niao bonus and could not afford any of these things, which was unfortunate. But the rest of the seed was the same, so largely still a run, just playing on extra hard mode, I guess. This orrery is less predictable than the floor 2 orrery because there's a lot more branching before then. Different... I have a script for it. People just send me their run history files, and I wrote a bunch of code in the background and press a button, and it fills out the sheets. Like I was saying, with the orrery on floor 2, it's, everybody has the same floor 1. It is a hallway fight, so the only way it can be different is based off of Niao choices, and everyone who bought that orrery had the same Niao, so it was very neutral. Here by floor 4, things can branch a lot more significantly. You could path into more combats versus question marks. Niao, again, can affect it as well. And so just, advancing things to different degrees. So, some people getting this one. So the number of possible orrery card rewards here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 that you could have seen, and obviously only 5 that any specific person did see. But still some strong pickups in here. Acrobatics, amazing draw. Bullet time, if you already have the draw, being able to capitalize on it in a really strong way. All-out attack, solid AoE, again, into hard pool hallways that can be pretty difficult for silent a lot of the time. Concentrate, bit of a greedier pick early unless you have other things speaking to it. But if you have the draw, if you have... ability to make extra use of the energy in good ways. Let's say a skewer or something can work. Sucker Punch, weakness, speaks for itself. Dagger Spray we talked about before. Tactician, just a strong card as long as you have the enablers for it. Another Dagger Spray if you didn't want the first one. Outmaneuver, another source of energy. Blade Dance. Why did this one show up twice? I don't know. Something's fucked up with this script, and it's a complicated enough one that I don't know where it is, where the bug is, but it's close enough to correct most of the time, I think. Whatever. But yeah, Blade Dance is a good card. Reflex over skip, again, I think really comes down to how greedy do you want to be, and do you have the enablers to make this pop off already. On floor 4, I think it's less likely, but, certainly can. Oh, it wasn't a bug. You just saw another... Oh, wait, no. Oh yeah, it's not a bug. These are other different things. Dagger Spray, Dodge and Roll, Predator, Quick Slash. So yeah, if you swapped, you do just see 3 Blade Dances. That's awesome. And with the early Shuriken, I imagine that made for some nonsense. If you didn't go that route, you get a Blade Dance just proper on floor 5. Or from this card reward again, lots of dancing. Lots of early dancing this run. Saying you only get 3 card options, have to spend 75 for remove. If you're saying the for curse type thing, curse can be a tricky downside. There are a bunch of curses that are barely a problem early on, and frankly, I would actually count Clumsy as one of them. It's another Ascender's Bane. It's not great, but at least it goes away and it doesn't actively screw you over the way like a pain or a regret or that kind of thing can. But yeah, it limits your options. And Silent, a lot of the time, I find her early game is quite weak. And so what I'm looking for out of an early shop is damage. Whether that's a damage potion, like a fire pot or something similar, attack pot even, or, just decent starter damage cards, even commons, just like something to fill out the deck with, so I can deal damage and actually kill fights, take on elites. To a reasonable degree of success. And you did have floor 0 unload, but you can't necessarily bank on that, right? You can there are a lot of good hits for Silent rares, granted, that can certainly let you farm things, but yeah, in general, when I'm saying when I think about Curse in Silent's kit, it's tougher. And some of the rares that you would really want to take, there are some strong ones like an Adrenaline, let's say. It does not do all that much early on. You're drawing into more basic cards. You basically just say, oh, you get an extra strike for free that turn now. Congratulations, because you have an extra energy to play one more strike than you otherwise would have. Good job. You added a slice to your deck that is golden and goes away. It becomes extremely broken later on, but if you end up taking one of those, it sets you back a little bit early game, I think. So you draw past the curse with Adren. Depending on what you mean by past, draws into the curse, certainly. But yeah, it's a bit of a tougher sell, and I could see the argument for it, but when it's up against 100 gold, if you're saying I'm looking at the curse because there's an early shop, I'm looking at the 100 gold because there's an early shop, right? I'm not there because I want to remove the curse. I'm there because I want to buy something exciting, like, say, my choice of a rare card of the entire shop, or a strong relic, or, tons of other things. Yeah. I think that was... Yeah, that's the first 5. If we look at Act 1 in general, again, backflip, floor 1, strong choice, lots of people scrap boozing. I'm just going to skip past the first 5 because we just looked at those in much more detail. See what the cards from Niao were for you. I know that you picked an unload. I didn't parse out what the other 2 options were, so it would just be your run history data where that would show up. Blade Dance, strong early smith. Again, damage makes Shuriken easier to get 2 procs out of on a turn if you're going that route. Predator, very strong damage upgrade, the +5. It's great into, Lagavulin having one big chunky attack that doesn't get pinged the same way Shivs get pinged, if you're going past the -2/-2 point. Nice for killing a sentry quickly as well. Plants, just strong card in general, and if you've got enough of a power boost from that early orrery, which I'm pretty sure the way that you have plans is if you clicked the orrery that had a plans in it, you're probably in a strong enough position to upgrade it reasonably safely. Neutralize, I don't have a better upgrade in mind. Its weakness, it works. All-out attack, damage, bullet time. Yeah. Lots of skips here. Glass Knife, great card if you can upgrade it especially, front load. Also falls off less with the Shuriken of, instead of actively gaining strength, you're just not reducing it as much on the redraw, but still works. Storm, Afterimage, Unload. Yep, I would probably take the Unload there too. Maybe Afterimage path dependent, but certainly greedier. Unload, it's not an exciting card, but it's a chunk of damage, and Silent in the beginning of Act 1 wants to have a chunk of damage. So yeah, makes sense. Chaos would take Afterimage most of the time. I think that's also very reasonable. It's, like I said, it's a very broken card a lot of the time in the later game, and it does still do a good amount for you in Act 1. Even if you're not card spamming yet, it's basically a metallicize, right? You're probably playing at least 3 cards a turn with your 3 energy, strike, defend, or whatever. And metallicize is fine in the early game. and having something like that just scales and gets more insane as the run goes on. Like it is, I would say it's a greedier pick than the unload in terms of just like immediate value that it gives, but I don't think it's a significantly greedier pick, and the payoff is very, very high. Whereas unload later is just like, why is this in my deck? Reduces the need to take elites to get value out of Act 1. I can see that argument for sure as well, yeah. Didn't expect so many people to search Adventurer with Laga. Has to do something with pathing. Yeah, I don't believe everyone saw Laga there. I know at least one VOD that I watched, the person had sentries. So I'm guessing it depends on what floor you encounter the Dead Adventurer event on. Yeah. Oh. Where was I? Blabbing about glass knife or something. Yeah. Piercing Whale. It's a common card. It's insane. Weakness, damage. You know, if you're on floor 10 and you're still like clicking and hoping to upgrade stuff like dagger spray, you know, it happens. I don't know where I was going with that. Footwork, again, great card, especially if you can invest in it. Whale, glass knife, doppel, gaming, so on and so forth. A lot of people seeing similar rares, smithing, you know, good stuff. Glass knife, doppelganger, blade dance, plans. Strong Act 1. I think for quite a lot of folks here. Let's excuse me. Let's look at cards, shall we? So a lot of cards this time that every single winning deck had in it, other than obviously the basics, but everybody had an acro. Everyone who won had a whale. Everyone had a backflip. Everyone had plans. Everyone had blade dance. I mean, they're all pretty insane cards, and cards that I would call silent staples. You know, I've heard a lot of people, how does Silent even win without Retain? And like, you know, it's a joke, but it's also kind of not. Like, the card's freaking insane. Acro's just, it does so much. And let's hold on, Valet. You know, Sender's Bane is not 100% win rate. It's 52% win rate. It's just 100% of winning decks had an Ascender's Bane in it. So. And pick rate isn't actually on here, because figuring out how many times people turned down a certain card is more complicated to parse out. So I didn't. Bottom deck plans, 5 heart fights in a row before this run. Ouch. Have you considered drawing your cards in a better order? I think that might help, just possibly. But yeah, cycling, control, just holding the good shit. Having, like, all 3 of these have the cards that you want on the turns where they are relevant, right? Drawing into them, holding them for later. And Piercing Whale is a great example of a card that you really want it on a turn that it's relevant. So, you know, having that as the trio of 4 at the top, other than the starter cards, I think makes a ton of sense. Blade Dance, Act 1 we just saw was kind of drowning in them. The P-boxes had dance in them as well, I believe. So that one's a little more of a gimme. But other strong picks to take a look at. Prepared, great enabler for any kind of discard shenanigans that you have going on. Doppelganger, again, wonderful consistency card. You can get it like a pretty garbage hand of like, what do I do with this turn? Just make your next turn significantly better instead of being forced into playing mediocre, you know, strikes, defends, whatever, just because you have nothing better to do with the energy. Set up big bursty turns. It works. Plus 48% versus average win rate. Footwork, great way to scale. Fumes, great way to scale. Nightmare, it was in the P-box and it's dumb. You know. Gamble. Again, there's a theme here. I'm saying the same thing over and over again. It's consistency, and that's what Silent is good at, is, you know, cycling and, you know, drawing stuff back and keep the party going. Deflect, Wraith Form, yep. Agony being up here, I think that's mostly a P-box thing. It was in the P-box. Same with P-Stab, was in at least one of the P boxes, I'm pretty sure. After Image, insane card. Alchemize, insane card, but I guess more people just saw it. Yeah, a lot of the winning decks had Catalyst. I didn't really go into it in detail here because, Intangible Monkey sums up a lot of things, and it, goes off of people's comments of intangible, cringe, blah, blah, blah. But, being intangible doesn't directly win you a fight. It allows you to win the fight through whatever other means you feel like. So, there were people doing Intangible Monkey things with poison, double Catalyst, Corpse Explosion, Cloud, Fumes, whatever. And there were people doing, Intangible Monkey things with the Shiv spam, a whole bunch of Blade Dances, Cloaks, Infinite Blades, and, leaning into Shuriken type shenanigans. And all that just having, I basically cannot be harmed as the comfiest safety net in the world. Sneaky Strike sucks? Anybody thinking Sneaky Strike absolutely sucks? I don't know. I don't know when this card showed up for people or what the circumstances were involved in picking it, but yeah, if anyone has thoughts on what made it such a low performing card in this run in particular, let me know. And now we're getting down to the point where it's, just not enough picks to be relevant. Sorry, bot. Your Infinite Blades is 100% sneaky in an orrery. I would believe that. I don't remember seeing it in the early orreries, but maybe I'm just... Oh yeah, it was in this floor 4 orrery. Yeah, it was in the floor 4 orrery for people in that boat. Chaos saw Sneaky in their first attempt. It was desperation damage for awkward Act 2 hallways. That's fair. Sometimes you just need a card that, deals damage. Yeah. Yeah. I don't know if there's much else to say about these, but again, exclamation stats if you guys want to look at this in more detail, and if you see anything, any other interesting line items that I think jump out one way or the other, that would be good to highlight. Otherwise, let's take a look. I think we briefly looked at boss relics, but let's look at them more properly. Swappers win again. And I think, honestly, there's a couple parts to this. Number one, Tiny House, it gets a lot of shade as a relic in general, but as a swap, I do think it's actually pretty strong. It just gives you an extra boost of all the things that you kind of want early game, and it's just, a comfy extra bit of power. Versus, Silent Starter Relic, it's completely broken late game, but early game, it's like, cool, I drew into 2 more strikes. Thanks. So that's part of it, but I think the bigger part of it is it gives you Pandora's at the end of Act 1 instead of at the end of Act 2. And Pandora's box on Silent is just freaking stupid. It's obscene. I think Zeknar's been on the record saying that, like, picking P-Box over Pyramid on Silent a lot of the time when they're both offered, because it's insane. So yeah, swappers win for getting the early P-Box. Yeah, House Swap makes early shop insane. Having a potion is great. Takes House out of the boss relic pool later. Yeah, all very good points. Because yeah, House is at its best by far when you swap into it, right? Choosing it at the end of an act is like much more okay, I guess. You already have kind of some stuff going. You don't need the extra small boost across the board quite so much. But the immediate floor 0 boost when your deck still sucks, yeah, much more relevant. So yeah, Dome is annoying to play around, but other than P-Box, if you didn't swap, strongest of the available. 3 middling Neo bonuses at once. True. Yeah, P-Box again, insane. 9 out of 9. 100% win rate here, and not because it was low sample size. The thing is broken. And there was a 1 P-Box loss on the record, end of Act 1. We can't all be perfect. It happens. But yeah, the thing is busted. Sozu, literally free energy. I'm pretty sure this again only showed up to boss swappers, and if you did boss swap and you're seeing these 3 of Hammer Collar Sozu, if the run is already in a pretty strong position, which it likely is, you got a P-Box at the end of Act 1, and you've had time to pick up a bunch of other things and be greedy about it. You don't necessarily need the energy from the Fusion Hammer quite as much for your deck to work, I'm assuming. And so you can afford to be a little bit greedier and either take the collar and say my deck is fine in hallways, I'm good, I'll just take the 0 downside option, or say Sozu and just kind of steamroll through things, hoard whatever potions you have for endgame, and keep upgrading if you're ahead of curve enough that the rest sites would otherwise be dead nodes. So yeah, Collar and Sozu, extremely OP. Definitely not just a sample size thing. P-Box, actually extremely OP. Ring of the Serpent, it's better than Skip sometimes. If you don't want to do a dome shenanigans, I guess I would probably still on average take House over Ring. Everything of course is deck dependent, as with literally everything in the Spire, but yeah, it's a tough sell. Where do people die in this one? Couple Act 1 deaths, mostly Act 2 deaths, which I think, Act 2 sucks. Ring good if you have energy but lack draw consistency on Silent. Yeah, I think that's completely fair. And I also think that most Silent decks don't tend to have that issue, right? Usually you have, she has a lot of very good draw consistency cards. And you can have excess energy sometimes, if you've got a bunch of tactician spam, outmaneuver type stuff. But I don't know. I find it harder to pick, to overpick at least energy cards to that extent, to the point where I'm I feel like I have excess energy for my draw. I usually want to grab more of the draw and then energy to catch up to that. That might just be a quirk of how I draft in particular. But yeah, transform heavy start I can see, because then you don't have as much direct control over what direction your deck ends up taking. Spire growth sucks. Honestly, I think this is a sleeper hallway fight for just being more annoying than people talk about. I don't like this guy. Nemesis sucks, especially with Dome. I think both of these people got kind of domed on this one. Yeah. Run speed. Off stream, Zeknar clocking in at sub an hour, even with Nightmare Wraith form spam to slow things down. J-Dub second fastest. Emily and Tony on the slow boys train. Or slow girls, BOIS, gender neutral boys. You know what I mean. Yeah. These are your speeds. Congratulations if you are on this chart, and just, I don't know. And yeah, pretty widespread of where people are dying in this one. I think sometimes you find just large gaps in the middle of a run of everyone's dying either here or here and not much in between. But this is, yeah, you are speed. Congratulations. Yeah, pretty wide distribution here. Lots of Act 2 nonsense happening. Damage, again, we're not going to go over in detail, but just zooming out. House swappers, again, that's a comfy first few floors. 200, 300, versus, the much more mixed bag of other people. Yeah. Relatively comfy. I don't see any huge trends on here that are worth noting. The light, almost no damage until just getting owned there, and then just getting owned by Gremlin later. Yeah. Dome. Hashtag just dome things. What are you gonna do? 103 to Nemesis. Ow. Sorry, Linosaurus. Yeah, no, like really broad trends here. I think, you know, some of the like late game pickers here mostly stop taking damage late game. If you've got the intangible spam completely on lock, if you're one of them, congrats. Time Eater isn't real. It cannot hurt Shiv decks. True and factual. Just don't get the clock boss. Love the seed, honestly. Yeah. Sometimes like some seeds can be really fun even if you get completely owned by them. And some seeds can be miserable even if you're stomping. I'm glad it was a fun one. That's like all I'll say there. 45 card deck on the high water mark. Who was that? Tony Twitch with the 45. I think there was a ceramic fish this run, so congrats on the fish value if you were on the upper end. And 29 is as the low bar, which I think is very reasonable for silent decks. Some holy relic hunting. Who the hell had 29 relics? Breedwin. Damn. Where was that from exactly? I know Wing Boots was part of it for extra elite farming. Was there a shovel in here? No. There's no Black Star. No, just mega elita farming. And with the Wing Boots and yeah. Tiny chest maybe doing something. Matryoshka in there. Yeah. Just a fuckload of relics. Just a fuckload of relics. That's pretty nuts. What tab was I on there? Oh yeah, the relic counts. Respecting bosses. A couple people not resting at 15 or 16 HP. Everyone calls them the nuts. True. 16 and 19 into the Act 2 boss. Being the low water non-resters there. Not a crazy amount of stall on this seed, really. Nothing too exceptional. There was an alchemize in the seed, but nobody really spammed it, even though there was a nightmare in the deck for a lot of folks. Even at least nobody who had Run History Plus mod enabled went full alch stall. You know, Hokyoniwa doing 4 sometimes, which I'm assuming is probably like play 1 alchemize and also nightmare it and play the other 3. But yeah, nothing particularly like over the top exclamation mark plan going on this time. Who needs alch stall when you have 15 intangible fight? It's true. Basically everyone taking 2 elites, but the only people who took 3 elites, all of them won. Please farm. What else we got here? Mostly 5 to 6 hallways early on. Not many events, which again, Act 1 events kind of suck. Taking a shop I think is very reasonable, especially on silent, especially if you have the 100 gold Neo bonus. More than one shop in Act 1 I find is often more of like a desperation type move. Just I need something to get through this next elite boss, whatever. Or if you have, you know, a big influx of gold to spend it, but on average I think one shop is usually what I aim for anyway. Big spread of elites. One person trying for 5 elites. Farm in Act 2 did not work out for them. Up to 5 rest sites in Act 2 as well. I guess you can get big numbers on here once you have throw wing boots in the mix. Makes sense. Yeah. Took on metallicizing sentries in Act 1. Pretty even split actually of people going for the burner in Act 1, 2, 3. Usually there's one act that's like significantly more than one of the others. But Act 2 burner is the most chill, maybe? Or, you know, maybe it's correlation over causation of like if your deck is just in a strong enough position that you feel like you can take on the burner in Act 2, then you're probably winning. Act 2 burner easy with double Wraith form. Yeah. So if you're in that position where it's I have, you know, a bunch of Wraith form, intangible, nothing really matters, then yeah, you're gonna win no matter if you take the burner in Act 2 or 3. So, or at least you're likely to. We don't need to look at that. We already looked at these. A bunch of people getting to key Matryoshka on this one. Sad, sad relic. Why does this thing exist? I do not like it. If you're lucky, it gives you back slightly more than itself by the end of the run when it's like no longer relevant. Thanks. And then yeah, just the stuff that you have to key in the final chest. Next bag. Looking at relic stats. Semicolon with the best nunchaku. Boot with the best shuriken, but again, lots of high shuriken numbers on this one. What are we averaging here? Average of 84. Average. That is a large number. Yeah, it can't even give you a rare relic. It's already bad. Why did you have to nerf it even? I don't know, dude. I don't know. Yeah. Shuriken popping off with all the blade dances. Unsurprising. Golden Idol, $62. Very nice. Bird-faced urn. Chaos, congrats on being the most cringe, I guess. I don't know if you were actively stalling for this very much or if you're just farming hallways. But yeah. Also for anyone confused, Chaos submitted 2 runs. The first one was a loss. The second was a win. I have to name them differently, so the win I put as 3 because that sounded funny. Just farming hallways. That's fair. The P-Box we already talked about. Pretty stupid. Career 537. Holy crap. Yeah, that's a little bit insane. I will grab the cat after relic stats, Valley. Wing boots, most people able to use all the charges on this one. 140 from the boot. Boot having the best boot. Lore accurate. But yeah, again, shiv spam before Shuriken gets in there or while weak. I don't know if there was other primary sources of boot value. If you were someone who got a bunch, let me know. Could see hallway farm because I have most ring of the snake value. Ah, true. And stone calendar. Sticky Emily, biggest frozen eye timer. Cereal bars with 3. 24 HP from Singing Bowl. Congrats on finding all those crappy card rewards. Chaos again, farming the most hallways. Or just the most combats in general. Pre-doing with the best fish again. Makes sense. We just saw the big deck, big relics. Stone calendar, sure. 69. Nice. Healing. Nobody got anything out of Juzu Bracelet. Like, actively useless instead of just, like, you say that it's useless because it sucks. Literally useless. Wow. Thanks, Juzu. Very cool. Letter opener, 491. Large number. Whetstone early on, but still upgrading mostly non-basics. Whereas I got 1 strike, but still Sucker Punch, the extra weakness plays. Skewer and All Out, both very solid. Backstab Slice, both solid. Smiling Mask, saving some dollars. Puzzle, drawn some cards. That's a lot of cards. 58 is a lot of cards. Excuse me. Again, nice mummy hand. Happy Flower, very strong. Helix, strong. Omamori did something. Congratulations. Warpaint, again, upgrading non-basics. My god. Probably after, the P-Box, so more likely to hit non-basics. Oh, yeah, intentionally taking damage turn 1 for puzzle, which fed earn. Makes sense. Meal ticket, doing nothing. Great, wonderful, love that. Matryoshka, 2 people had it be an actual relic that gave value eventually. And then 3 more had it eventually replace itself, and 2 more had it just be actively terrible. Great relic, love that for this game. Ice cream, waffle. Buying a waffle and healing 7 HP with it is like buying a waffle at max HP. I think that's what that means. That's a flex. I'm here for it. Hourglass, Stolliest, ink bottle, Uh, 282 healing lost from Mark of the Bloom. Ouch. Yeah. Jadab had 999. Right. That makes sense. Alrighty, I will go get the cat now. I think that's all the tabs. Let me just make sure. Yeah. That is indeed all the tabs except the form submissions, which we read over, at least skimmed the winning runs already. We can skim the losing ones after, maybe, if y'all want. But for now, I go full camera and I get the baby. BRB. I have a cat. She is purring. Meow. The floofage has arrived. Say hi to everybody. No, don't want to say hi, just want to purr. Okay, have head smacks then. Happy cat head smacks. Oh, no more. Okay. Just want to rub your chin on my shoulder. That's okay too. Hi. Hi. Bouncy baby. It is a cat who wants to climb higher again, but my neck is in the way. See? Hugging around the neck. As she does. Hello. Please look at your adoring fans. Blech. Allergies. Okay. Doing that again, are we? Okay. Not allowed to have glasses again. Oh, I am allowed. We go this way now? Okay. Meow. Yes. Yes, hello. I don't know what you want. Is it just to keep climbing higher? Because we've been over this. My neck is in the way. You cannot do that. There is a neck there. Must squish self into a human's face. Yeah, that sounds about right. That sounds about right. Must get all of the allergens all over me. But she's good, so. Hey, just Jack, thank you. This is my kitty cat. She's very cute and I'm very allergic to her, but she's worth it because she's very cute. I like to say I am trading a little physical health for a lot of mental health with this one. Yeah. She's so cuddly. Do you guys know other cats that are this cuddly? She's just always wants to be all up in your business and just hug and purr and it's very good. Cuddly cats are the best. Always on head, lap, chest. Yeah. And I agree, Valet. I am 100% agreed with that. I have to take allergy meds like literally every day just to be able to breathe, basically. I still cough, but, that's okay. She is baby. She is sleepy baby. Yeah? You wanna say anything else? No? Just purring? Okay. Alright, I'm gonna go put her back in her basket. And she can go back to being round and sleepy there. And I give you the jelly bean video as usual, and then we'll BRB to wrap up.
Are you done?
Ah! No, stop playing the bullshit. Like, okay. Hi, again. That was Kat. And yeah, we are pretty much done the sheet. I'm just going to do a quick skim for if there's interesting comments in the no's category of people who did not manage a win. Because we already looked at the Russes. Roughest Act 2 of all time. Sucks, so can't pick Dome. Understandable. And I mean, sometimes, like, even if Dome is the stronger pick, some days you just can't be arsed to deal with that. Thought it was terrible with Frozen Eye, Brick the Boss Relic. Didn't get the Nightmare Wraith form combo. Guardian sucks. Misplaying with Dome, died from full. Ouch. Again, scared to take Dome and just flumped in Act 2 is a pattern. Seed feels fine. Bloated the deck with Orrery is an interesting way to phrase that. I guess if you're trying to force infinite, then it makes sense. But yeah. Act 1, okay. Tiny House and Struggle Bus. Understandable. Yeah. If you take Orrery, you should get to skip after? Get to skip after what? Or skip what? After what? I'm confused. A little too greedy from a good start. I think we've all been there. So after taking Orrery, you should get to skip garbage commons later in the act. Yeah, agree for sure. And yeah, too deep on Dead Adventurer and Runic Dawn Gremlin later. Rough matchup. And yeah, I saw this clip from Semicolon, but let's have you guys see it as well.
That's what I told myself. And it does. Also, I need to kill fast. This is free? Haha. Darn it. Oh no.
And space. And space. Yeah. What a way to end it. What a way to end a run. Trying to be slightly too clever and not clever enough. It's a mood. It's a mood. I've definitely been there. I'm sure you guys have too. All right, with that, let's call it for the recap. Thank you guys for hanging out. I think we're going, I talked to Wet and we're actually going to skip the doing Not Dork Seed of the Week this week. So we're just gonna put it on pause. I think he already went to watch Baylor. I might run it super quickly off stream myself at some point because I'm just like, I'm feeling better, but I'm not feeling like better enough to really take a run seriously, especially not on stream right now. So just gonna clean slate, start a fresh rotation with, Clad next week because, top of the rotation anyway. But I will try to be back on at some point before next week, just for some kind of nonsense fun runs, because streaming is fun, is the plan. Who is on? Looks like Calvin's is on. So let's go say hi to him. Alrighty. Thanks again for hanging out, everybody. Appreciate you all, and hopefully see you again soon, and good luck on your Defect Seed of the Week runs this week if you have not already done them. Take care. Bye.